Welcome to Digital Discovery, an interactive learning environment. The controls for both gamepad and keyboard are displayed on the screen and will help you navigate through your experience. To navigate to different rooms, use the toolbar on your right. The bottom toolbar will have different viewing tools beneficial to your experience. Once you have associated yourself with the toolbars, please select a room on the right to begin. English now selected. Ahora en español. Maintenant en français. English now selected. Now entering firearms. Firing a revolver requires access to the main cylinder. Most revolvers have 5 or 6 chambers in the cylinder. Placing a round in each chamber will load the weapon. To close the cylinder, simply push it back into its original position. Now that the gun is loaded, the hammer is pulled back to prime the gun for firing. This differs for each type of revolver. In this case, this revolver is a single action, meaning the hammer must be pulled back manually for each shot. Doing this will also position the trigger to allow for a light trigger pull. Pulling the trigger will release the hammer and strike the cartridge, thus propelling the bullet from the revolver's main barrel. The hammer is cocked back once again, and the process continues until all 6 bullets have been fired. Firing To close, now that the gun is loaded, pulling the trigger will Firing a revolver. Firing a flintlock requires the appropriate amount of powder to be poured into the barrel. A lead ball covered with a lubricated patch is then pushed into the barrel with the use of a ramrod. This will ensure a tight fit and allow for a more powerful shot. Once the hammer has been moved to the half-cocked position, additional powder is then loaded into the flash pan and the frizzen is closed. This is the origin of the idiom, to go off half-cocked. The hammer is now moved to the full-cocked position and is ready for firing. Pulling the trigger will ignite the powder and propel the ball forward. This process is required for each additional shot. A self-contained cartridge holds the bullet, primer, and the powder. Anatomical. The human heart will beat approximately 100,000 times per day, or 3 billion times in a lifetime. Humans have the largest brain-to-body size ratio, and this also accounts for approximately 2% of total body weight. Even though the skull looks like a single bone, there are in fact 22 separate bones fused together along ridged joints called sutures. Historical. The Kodak Brownie was a series of popular inexpensive cameras that were easy to operate. They were first introduced at the beginning of the 20th century. Roll film is any type of spool-wound film that is protected from light exposure. The first commercial DSLR camera was introduced by Kodak in 1991.